Good morning, everyone. I'm here with Sandy Kurby from College of DuPage. She is a fabulous instructor whom we've had visit more than one time for more than one program. Today we are revisiting our program with Sandy that is midday desk stretch. And this is a fantastic routine. I love this. We're streaming live to YouTube. You can revisit this recording at your convenience. So anytime you feel like doing a routine, a session, feel free to go to the Addison Public Library YouTube page, which I can always provide a link to, but it's very straightforward. Just go to YouTube and search Addison Public Library. Otherwise, welcome, Sandy. Good morning. All right, and I'm going to let you just do a brief introduction of yourself, if you would be so kind, and just keeping that volume up so we can hear you, and we will enjoy our session, everybody. Thank you for attending. Thank you, Sandy, for being here.
Thank you for having me. My name is Sandy Kurby. As Jody mentioned, I work at College of DuPage, and I've done a couple of different types of programs for the Addison Public Library. One that has been recurring has been this midday desk stretch. So hopefully we bring a little something different each time we do these desk stretches, but sometimes we'll see some of the same types of movements as well, just so we can kind of continue to grow within that stretch. But hopefully this is a little bit of a break throughout your day so you can relieve some of that tension. If you're viewing this at a later time, even a nice way to unwind after a long day of work, or even just being around the house. So enjoy. And the first thing that we're going to do, all you need is a chair. We will be doing some work that involves standing, and I'll let you know, but if there's ever a time that you prefer to stay seated, you can always stay seated as well. So there's always modifications, even with something that might sound as simple as desk stretch. So always work within your own capabilities. Your stretches should never hurt. You do want to stretch to feel that length within the muscle, but you don't want to ever overstretch or push yourself into a position that is uncomfortable, where we might be doing a little bit more damage than allowing that growth to happen. So when you're ready, we're going to start off just sitting in our chair. I have my feet flat onto the floor. So if you are on a chair where you're sitting back, if I were to sit back, I'm a short person, so my feet don't quite hit the floor. So I'm just going to make sure that my feet can hit the floor. My shoulders are down low and away from my ears. I have a nice straight spine, so I'm not leaning back. I'm not just slouching back in the chair, but staying tall and lifted, almost as if I'm using the base of the spine or my tailbone as kind of like the root, and then I'm just like a tree growing all the way up. So we're lifting up through the center. My head is lifted. A lot of times we're forward, especially when we're on a computer or on a phone, or even reading, things like that. So trying to keep those shoulders low and away. We're going to talk a lot about creating space. So we're going to try and create space between the ears and the shoulders by lengthening the neck, letting the chin come back a little bit, and just hold there. Initially, it might almost feel like you're doing a lot of work, but again, a lot of times our natural position is to be rounded, slouched, forward. So we're trying to counteract that by letting those shoulders come low and away. Just start coming into your breath. Our breath can do so much for us. Allow us to release any stress of our day. Help us calm our muscles down. The greater we can lengthen our breath, the more we can increase even our lung capacity. Just focus on taking some nice deep breaths. Inhaling. Exhaling. A lot of times I talk about how to breathe, which you would think would come very natural. A lot of times when we're stressed or when somebody tells you to take a deep breath in, we inhale and we suck everything in. So what we want to try working on is inhaling by letting our belly expand, almost feeling like the rib cage is expanding out to the sides. And then on our exhale is when we're starting to knit things back together again. So if I were to place my hands on my ribs, I would see my hands getting bigger on my inhale, and on my exhale coming back in again. It doesn't have to be as dramatic as that, but that's just a nice way of showing. So as you're sitting there breathing, focus on letting the air come into the belly, moving up into the chest, the rib cage expanding, not just forward, but also out, and then the chest lifting. And then on your exhale, reversing that, the chest sinks in first, We almost feel as if the ribs, again, are kind of knitting back together. Our navel comes in a little bit closer towards the spine. And just continue to take a couple more breaths just like that. Anytime we go through our practice today, if you're doing a stretch and it doesn't feel comfortable, like I said, always modify when you need to. And if you want to sit a stretch or two out, feel free to just sit and work on your breath. Our breath is always a great place to recenter ourselves and come back whenever you're ready. When you're ready, just come back into your natural breath rhythm. We're going to start from the top of the head and we're going to work our way all the way down to the toes. So I'm going to start off just taking my right ear to the right shoulder. You can either mirror me or you can go the same direction, whatever feels best for you. We're going to hit both sides with every stretch we do. A lot of times when I say bring your ear to your shoulder, people are trying to really reach their ear to their shoulder, so they'll bring their shoulder up. Again, we want to try and relax that as much as possible. A nice gentle reminder is just to take that opposite hand. So if my right ear is to the right shoulder, I'll take my left hand and just place it right on top of that right shoulder. It's almost like a little reminder, a little gentle release down. And then you might feel that stretch lengthen through that left side a little bit more. Again, continue to breathe through all your stretches. From here, I'm just going to release my arm if you haven't already. And then I'm going to take that opposite hand, the hand that was going up to the shoulder. I'm just going to bring it off to the side. It doesn't have to be straight out, just slightly off to the side. You'll feel that stretch kind of come through the shoulders a little bit more as well. When you're ready, we're just going to take that hand and we're going to move it towards the back wall. If you want, you can also even grab onto the back of your chair, if that helps. Again, as you're coming towards the back, if you're reaching so far towards the back that your shoulder comes forward and your upper body comes forward, we don't want that. We want to stay as tall and lifted as possible. And just keeping that hand behind us, even if it's a little bit lower. It doesn't have to be straight out. So wherever feels best for you, you should be feeling that stretch a little bit more towards the front of the neck. And go ahead and release that hand back down. Chin can tuck down. And then we're going to go to that opposite side. So now I have my left ear to the left shoulder. Again, don't let that left shoulder creep up. Try and keep the shoulder nice and low. If you want, the opposite hand can come up onto the shoulder. Release that down, create that space. Again, if you have the hand on the shoulder, feel free to just release that down. Let the hands move off to the side. Again, just a little deeper stretch. Doesn't have to be straight out. We actually don't want it straight out. We kind of feel a little bit of a better stretch when we're on a slight angle here. And then when you're ready, we're just going to move the hand towards the back. Again, it doesn't have to be perfectly straight up towards the back. We're just releasing towards the back. If you want, feel free to grab onto the chair. Wherever feels best for you. But again, we're feeling that stretch come through the front of the neck a little bit more. When you're ready, go ahead and release that hand down. You can come back onto your lap if you choose. Let the chin tuck down. And then lift that up center. Staying tall and lifted. All we're doing is looking over one shoulder. I'm going to go to the right first. So I'm just letting my right chin look over the right shoulder. Just looking as far as I comfortably can. Coming back into the center. And then we're just going to switch sides. And I'm going to look over my left shoulder. Again, looking as far as I comfortably can. Go ahead and release that, coming back into the center. We're going to work through the neck a little bit more in just a moment, but we're going to start off with the upper back now. We're going to take the hands and just clasp them together. On your inhale, just kind of pull the hands in a little bit closer. And then as you exhale, we're going to press the hands away from the body. As we do so, we can round out the upper back. Chin can tuck down towards the chest. As you're holding your stretches again, continue to breathe. And then feeling this come through the shoulder blades a little bit more. I'm going to take my arms over to the right hand side. So I'm going to feel that in the left shoulder blade a little bit more. And bring that back into the center. And then I'm going to switch to the opposite side. So I'm going to the left side, feeling the stretch come through that right shoulder blade. When you're ready, bring it back into the center. Go ahead and release the hands down. Same thing, clasping the hands together. We're just going to do that behind the back this time. So I'm going to turn to the side. You can stay facing that same direction. All I'm doing is clasping the hands behind me, releasing the shoulders low and away. So I want to try and bring my hands as close to the ground as I can, or maybe even just resting on the chair, holding there. Again, you're creating that space between the shoulders and the ears. And then from here, I'm just going to lift up slightly. It doesn't have to be a big movement, especially if you have a back of your chair. If you do have a back to your chair and you want it to kind of get out of the way, we're going to start hinging our upper body slightly forward, and then that'll allow you to bring the arms up a little bit higher. Just going again to wherever you feel most comfortable. When you're ready, go ahead and release that, lifting back up. Unlace the fingers and release that down. We're going to take the shoulders and we're just going to roll them up, back, down, and away. I'm just going to turn and face you once again. And go ahead and release that all the way down. Same idea of clasping our hands together. So that's kind of why we were working through this. We're going to take the hands behind the head, right on the nape of the neck, and we're going to clasp them together. We're going to open the feet just a little bit. And all we're going to do is take a nice deep breath in. As you exhale, just hinge however far forward you're comfortable. If you can, I'm going to move my chair back just a moment here so you can see I come all the way down. All I'm going to do is let the whole upper body release over my legs. And then I have that hands clasped behind my head, gently pulling the head towards the floor. So I'm lengthening through the spine. Again, if this doesn't feel comfortable for you, feel free to stay lifted a little bit higher. You can even place the hands onto the quadriceps and just add that little hinge, whatever feels best for you. I find this is a great stretch to release any tension in the back of the head and neck. When you're ready, unlace the fingers, let the hands come down towards the floor. Even if they're not reaching, we're just letting the whole upper body release down. Feel free to shake your head yes or no. And when you're ready, we're slowly going to start bringing it up. If you want your knee, feel free to bring the hands to the quadriceps, never pressing on the knees, and gently press yourself up. Feet can stay about hip distance apart. If you want, feel free to bring them back in a little bit more. I'm going to place my hands right onto the thighs, and all I'm doing is that slight hinge forward. I keep a nice flat back. Again, I'm going to turn to the side just so you can see a little bit more of what I'm doing here. So I have that slight hinge forward, keeping a nice straight back, and then we're going to do a moving cat and cow in the chair here. So all I'm going to do is kind of press in towards my hands so I can round out the spine, chin tucks down towards the chest. Feeling each part of the spine kind of rounding out. And then go ahead and release that, coming back to your neutral spine position, so your nice flat back. And then I'm going to try and reverse that. So I'm going to try and let my belly come forward and arch my spine that opposite direction. This depends on a lot of flexibility. So if you don't see a big, C curve, that's okay. We're just trying to open things up. Gaze move up towards the ceiling. Again, shoulders are down, low and away. When you're ready, move back to that neutral spine position. We're going to round things out once again. Once again, coming back through neutral and then rounding things out that opposite direction. So again, I'm trying to bring my shoulders back, chest opens up, gaze can move up. And go ahead, release that, coming back to that neutral spine position. Feel free to come back tall and lifted. I'm going to turn and face you once again. We're going to move into a seated Marichi's pose this time. Options are to keep both feet down. Otherwise, if you want a little bit of a deeper stretch, I'm going to cross my right leg over the left. If this isn't something that's comfortable for you, again, feel free to keep that foot down. But if you want that deeper stretch, we have the leg crossed over. So I'm going to take the opposite hand. So I'm taking my left hand on the outside of the right thigh. Again, never pressing directly on the knee, but on the outside of my right thigh. And then my right hand, I'm just going to turn and reach towards the back of my chair. If you're not able to reach quite towards the chair, feel free to place the hand down onto the seat. And all I'm doing is adding a gentle twist towards the side or towards the back of the room. Again, whatever feels best for you. Again, keep breathing, especially when you're in these sometimes people think it's best to hold their breath. Continue to breathe the entire time. When you're ready, go ahead and release that knee back into the center. All I'm going to do is uncross my legs, and we're going to go again to that opposite side. So now I have my left leg crossed over my right. My right hand is going to come on the outside of the left thigh. The left hand is going to reach either for the bottom of the chair, back of the chair, whatever feels best. Again, adding that little bit of pressure so I can add that twist towards the back or towards the side. And when you're ready, go ahead and release that. Coming back into the center again. Closing out, I'm going to uncross my legs. You can be wherever you're most comfortable. Just staying tall and lifted here. I'm going to inhale, bringing my arms up overhead. And as I do so, my arms are going to keep your arms up. I'm going to bring my hands down so you can see. I'm going to interlace the thumbs together so I can just gently give a little pull out. So all I'm doing is gently pulling out to the sides. Again, we're creating space. So it feels like an isometric contraction. You might feel a little bit of tension. But what we're doing is opening up, creating that space between the shoulder blades. If you think of it, think of which thumb is on top, because we're going to do it one more time and we'll just reverse the thumb. It doesn't make a huge difference, but I like to keep things as consistent as I can on both sides. So when you're ready, go ahead and release that. Let the arms just flow down. You might notice the shoulders feeling a little bit more warm. You might notice that opening up in the shoulder blades. I'm going to do that one more time. Inhale, lifting the arms up. This time, if you can, opposite thumb comes in front. And again, just hook the thumbs together. Gently pull those arms away from each other, or the hands away from each other. Keep breathing. Go ahead and release that. Let the hands float back down. Same kind of idea, but we're going to be hinged forward again. So again, if it doesn't serve you to move forward like that and you would rather stay lifted, feel free to come back into that cat and cow pose and hold there. But again, I'm going to turn to the side so you can see a little bit better. But all we're doing is coming to that hinged position again. You can be right underneath the hips. You can move them out a little bit wider. But same idea of how we were linking our thumbs together. We're going to take the first two fingers. If you don't have shoes on, if you do, just make sure that you're not pressing too hard on your hands. But all we're doing is inhaling the arms up. As you exhale, we're going to hinge forward. Let the upper body rest down. And now I'm taking those two fingers underneath the big toes. From there, head and neck release down. And then with those fingers underneath, all I'm going to do is isometrically lift up. So I'm going to feel as if I'm trying to bring my fingers up, but I have my toes pressing them down. Again, that's going to create space in that spinal column. Again, keep breathing. When you're ready, go ahead and release that. Let those fingers come out from underneath the toes. Roll that all the way up. Come back to that tall seated position. Release that down. You might feel as if you're lengthening a little bit more and more as we go through class. Again, I'm going to turn and face you. We're going to continue to move our way down. So I'm going to go ahead and lift my right leg up. Hands are going to come right behind the hamstrings just to help support that leg up. And all I'm going to do is take that right foot and I'm going to make a little circle around clockwise or counterclockwise. Again, we're going to go in both directions. So it doesn't matter which way you start. Whichever direction you're going, we're going to go ahead and reverse that. So opposite way. And then when you're ready, coming back into the center, and all I'm going to do is flex my foot, so I'm trying to bring my toes up towards my face. And then I'm going to point the toes away, trying to bring the toes closer to the ground. Once again, toes pull up. And again, toes point down. When you're ready, go ahead, release that leg down. As we're doing that lift, we're also kind of warming up through the hip flexors. We're going to be doing some standing work in a little bit as well. Left leg is going to lift, hands come behind the hamstrings. Again, just kind of clasping together. Lift up to wherever you're comfortable. Again, start circling the ankle around in one direction. And go ahead, circle around in that opposite direction. When you're ready, go ahead and come back into the center, and we're going to take the toes and flex them up towards us as much as we can. And then point the toes away from you. Once again, foot flexes, bring the toes up towards us. And last time here, toes point down. Going back to that neutral position, release the foot down. From here, I'm going to go back to the right side. Again, whichever side you want to start with is perfectly fine. All I'm doing is taking my foot forward, toe up, heel down. I'm going to continue to move back so you can see my feet a little bit better. Toe up, heel down. And all I'm going to do is hinge the upper body slightly forward here. So I have my toe pointed up towards the ceiling. Wherever you feel that stretch most, feel free to stay right there. So if you want to stay even seated like this, feel free to. If you want to hinge a little bit further, great. If you want to reach your toes, great. If you don't want to, you definitely don't have to. If you are reaching towards the toes, again, the only thing I ask is if you're letting the hand rest down on the leg, make sure it's not pressing on the knee, either up onto the thigh, on the shins. We just never want to press directly on our knees. When you're ready, upper body can lift up. That same leg that was extended forward, all we're doing is moving it off to the side. So I'm just bringing the leg over to the side. If you need, you might want to move the hips slightly forward so you have a little bit of room and the chair is not going to be blocking the way that you have the leg out to the side. But again, whatever feels best for you here. We're going to feel the stretch on the inner thigh a little bit more this time. So now we're going to inhale, bring the arms up. As you exhale, hinge it forward. You can always bring the hand down to the chair if you feel unstable here. Hands can come down to the quadriceps. They can reach down again, straight down towards the floor. The lower you go, the more you'll feel that stretch. But again, make sure you feel supported. So if you want, you can always come onto the chair. You can always do this a little higher. When you're ready, start lifting that back up again. And all we do is let that leg come back in towards the center. And we're going to be switching sides. So again, now I have my left leg, toe up, heel down. Inhaling the arms all the way up. As you exhale, go ahead and reach it forward, letting the hands rest down, hands into the quadriceps, chair, reach towards the toes. Again, whatever feels best for you. Just hold there, keep breathing. And then hand back up and slowly roll that all the way up. Again, the leg that's extended, all we're doing is moving it over towards the side. So again, if you need, feel free to push your hips a little bit further forward, whatever feels best for you. Inhaling the arms up. As you exhale, squeezing forward. Again, hands can come down right away if you like. They can come to the chair. If you want, feel free to reach it forward. And then when you're ready, feel free to let the hands rest down to wherever you're comfortable. Again, quadriceps, floor. Make sure we're not pressing on the knees in any way. Always hold on to the chair. And when you're ready, release that, rolling it back up again, letting that foot come back in towards the center. From here, I'm going to take both legs out this time. I'm just kind of turning them out towards the sides. It doesn't have to be a big movement, but my toes are kind of out towards the corners of the room. My hands are coming right onto the thighs. Again, not pressing on the knees, but we're staying up a little bit higher here. From here, all I'm gonna do is hinge forward. Again, anytime you want, let the hands come to the chair if that feels a little bit better for you. It doesn't have to be a big hinge. Upper body again, I'm gonna take my left shoulder over towards the right knee or towards the right foot. So I'm just letting that left shoulder come over towards that opposite side. Go ahead, bring it through the center, and I'm gonna switch sides so my right shoulder comes over towards the left side. Once again, come back through the center. Same thing, left shoulder over to the right side. Back in through the center and right shoulder over towards the left side. When you're ready, bring it back into the center. We're gonna lift that all the way up. I'm gonna keep my right foot over towards that back corner or towards the outside corner. And I'm gonna start shifting my weight over towards that same side. So as I do so, my left foot is gonna wanna turn towards you. So I'm gonna let my left foot turn towards you. And I'm gonna continue to move towards the side. My left glute might be lifting up off the chair, that's okay. If you wanna sit back a little bit further, you're welcome to. If you wanna stay slightly forward, that's fine. Again, the right side might be the only side that you feel that contact with the chair, but you also have the support underneath the hamstring. So if you want, you can always move back a little bit further if that feels best for you as well. So I have my right toes either towards the corner or towards the side. My left toes are pointed towards you. That's going to open up through that left hip flexor. My right hand can be down onto the seat of the chair, the back of the chair, whatever feels best. But I'm going to try and let my hips turn towards that right toe. So I have my hips turn as close to the front as I can. Again, my right hand can support wherever feels best. Seat of the chair, back of the chair. And then when you're ready with that left hand, if you want, you can always just keep it supported on your hip, whatever feels best. If you can, go ahead, let the arm lift all the way up. Again, the right hand can always stay onto the chair to help with balance, support. If you do feel so inclined and you want to touch yourself a little bit, feel free to take that right hand off the chair and lift that up. So we would be in a supported warrior one here. From here, all I'm gonna do is let my hips open up to the center, so open up towards you. My left hand is gonna open up towards the back. My right hand moves towards the front. So now I'm in a warrior two. Same thing though, if I want, I can always have my hand down, supporting on the chair, whatever feels most comfortable for you. So if we didn't have the chair underneath, if we magically let it disappear, we'd be holding a perfect warrior two right here. So even for those who might be in an advanced practice of yoga, this is always a great way to come back to the foundations and make sure you have good form. From here, I'm gonna let my left hand, my back hand come down for the back leg as my right arm lifts up. Again, if you're still supporting on the chair, that's fine. We're just doing a slight lean back. If you're not reaching and you're staying a little bit higher, that's perfectly fine as well. Again, we're opening up through the hip, getting a little stretch to the back. When you're ready, go ahead and come back through warrior two. And then all I'm gonna do is let my arms release down, and we're gonna turn back in towards the center. So all I'm doing is letting my left hip come back again, letting the bend come into the knee, walking my feet back in, letting my hips come back to the center of my chair. Feet are a little bit wider again. You can start however feels best for you, but I'm gonna let my left toes turn out towards either the corner or towards the side. And again, my right foot, I'm gonna extend back and I'm gonna have my toes pointed towards you. So all I'm doing is shifting my hips over towards the center. So my right hip will now be in line with you as I let my hips turn towards my front toe. Again, now that I'm on the left side or the left foot's forward, my left glute hamstring can be supported by the chair. The right side might not be on the chair. If you want to, you can always scoot back a little bit more and you will still have that support. I can have the chair all the way out in front if I want, or I can be a little bit more forward. Depends on how much support you want here. But again, feeling that stretch of that right hip flexor. Left hand stays down on the chair if you're more comfortable there. on the back of the chair. If you're ready, right up. We're holding a warrior one here. Again, working on that length, staying tall and lifted. As we're lifting though, we don't want the arm to come all the way up with the shoulder. We still want to keep that shoulder low and away, but we still want to feel lengthened. If you want, the left arm can lift up as well. I'm going to move into our warrior two. So I'm going to let my right hand move towards the back, the left hand comes in front. Again, if you want that left hand stays supporting on the seat of the chair, back of the chair, whatever feels best for you there. Keep breathing. And moving into our first warrior, and let the right hand come down to the back of the leg. It doesn't have to be a big movement. You can hold right here if you want. Otherwise, if you can, we're going to reach the hand towards the back of the leg. Other arm lifts up towards the ceiling, feeling a little deeper stretch. Very nice. Go ahead, bring it back into your warrior two. And then we're going to turn it back into the center. So again, whatever feels best for you or however you get there, let the hands rest down. Hips are just turning. Again, hands will come onto the chair. First, we'll walk the feet all the way in. You might feel those hip flexors starting to open up a little bit more. From here, we're going to take one last deep breath. Coming into our seated chair. So feet are about hip distance apart. Inhale, just lifting the arms up. Exhale, release those shoulders rolling away. Take a nice deep breath in. As you exhale, we're just going to hinge it forward. So keeping a nice flat back here. Keep breathing. Same thing, if I were to just take the chair away from you, we'd be in our chair pose. From here, I'm going to continue to let everything just come forward. Now I'm just letting the back round out and then let the hands come down towards the floor into a forward fold. Head and neck are nice and relaxed. Just letting everything round out over the legs. Slowly roll that all the way up. Coming back into that seated position, roll those shoulders up, back, down, and away. Give yourself a moment here. Remember, we have our head below our heart sometimes. You might need a moment to just breathe. We are going to be coming up to a standing position. Again, you can still do some of these while you're seated. You can modify in any way that you feel best, but we're basically going to be using our chair to help with some balance. So if you're ready, we're going to start off just by standing up here. I'm going to take my chair and I'm going to bring it to the side so that you can see a little bit easier what I'm doing, but you can stand wherever is best for you. I'm holding onto the back of the chair. Move it a little bit further forward. I'm holding onto the back of the chair. I'm facing in towards the chair. And all I'm going to do is start walking my feet back so that when I'm ready, I can have the palms onto the chair. I'm not going to let the chair tip towards me. I keep my arms straight, putting a little bit of pressure here, but I'm going to let my hips move back as my upper body comes down. My head can rest down a little bit. Feeling a nice stretch to the back of the legs, lengthening through the spine. Stretches through the upper part of the back. Stretches through the chest, shoulders. Again, a little bit of the back of the legs. Very similar to what we'd see in our downward facing dog. When you're ready, go ahead and start lifting back up. You can walk the feet in as you're starting to lift as well. We're going to hold on to the chair with one hand. With the other hand, we're going to reach back. We're going to do a quadricep stretch. So I can reach back for pant leg, shoe, whatever feels best. If I can't reach back and pull my foot up, I have my chair. I can turn the opposite way, and I can let my foot come right onto the chair. I can still hold on for support, but I can be facing away. And if I want a deeper stretch, I can even do a little bit of a dip. So that's definitely an option. If you do have the ability and you would like to, feel free to reach for the toes. Just pull that heel up. Main thing here is we don't have the leg coming out to the side. I'll face you. We don't have the leg coming out to the side. We don't have the leg popping forward. We almost have the legs glued together. And then we feel that stretch a little bit more through the quadriceps. As I'm doing that, if you want a little bit of a deeper stretch, All I'm gonna do is feel as if I'm bringing my belly button up towards my nose. So I'm gonna tuck my hips under a little bit. I'm kind of exaggerating that for you, but I'm gonna tuck my hips under a little bit and I'll feel that stretch a little bit more. As you curl the hips underneath, I'm still trying to lengthen with that leg too. Go ahead, release that, letting that foot rest down. I'm gonna take the same leg that I had up in my hand or up onto my chair, and all I'm gonna do is step that leg all the way back. Both toes are pointed forward. I turn my chair so that I'm probably a little bit more like everybody else's here. I'm stretching through the back heel here. So if that back heel isn't pressing down to the floor, it doesn't have to touch, but I'm just holding here. And then we're gonna do a little bit of mobility with this. So all I'm doing is lifting the heel up and then releasing back down a little bit. Lifting up and releasing down. Just move at your own pace. Just make sure you're not moving ballistically, going up and down very quickly. When you're comfortable, go ahead, hold that stretch down. Same thing though, if that heel still isn't touching the floor, that's okay. Just hold wherever it feels best for you. And then from here, we're gonna work on the hip flexors one last time. But if you need, you might want to step the foot back a little bit further. I usually have to, and then your heel will be off the ground. So you have your toes down onto the ground. All I'm gonna do is put a bend in the back knee. So it's almost like I'm coming into a lunge. But the main thing here is I'm gonna scoop my hips underneath, very similar to what I was talking about when we were in that standing position for our quadriceps. So I'm scooping my hips underneath and then sinking down a little bit lower. So you might feel that in the quadriceps. Hopefully you're feeling that also through the hip flexors. Nice work. We are technically still working the quadriceps, so you might feel a little shaky or you might feel that working. That's okay. When you're ready, go ahead, stand it up. Go ahead, shake the legs out. We're gonna switch to the opposite side. I'm gonna move my chair just so you can see things a little bit better, but I'm on the left leg that we're gonna be working with. So once again, hand can hold onto the chair to help us balance. I'm gonna reach for the toes, shoes, pant leg, socks, whatever feels best for you. Just lift up and hold here, again, with the legs glued together. Again, if you're using the chair to help get that foot up, all I'm doing is holding onto the chair, letting the foot come up, and then again, legs stay glued together. If I'm not feeling that stretch enough, put a bend in that standing leg, and I'll feel that stretch come down a little bit more. Otherwise, in this position, holding here. Once again, deeper stretch, hips curl underneath. Nice work. When you're ready, go ahead and release that. The same leg that was in your hand or on the chair is going to step back. You need to feel free to step it forward. I'm going to turn my chair again. So we're holding in a calf stretch position or a lunge position. Again, the back heel, if it doesn't touch the floor, that's okay. Don't worry about it. Just hold there. Continue to breathe. And then a little bit of mobility. Sometimes it allows a little bit more flexibility when we do that hold at the end. If not, that's okay. We'll slowly work into it. But feel free to lift the heel up and then release back down. Again, just going at your own pace. When you're ready, go ahead, let that heel rest down again. Once again, if it's not touching the floor, that's not a big deal. Just let the heel rest as much as you can. Keep breathing. When you're ready, we're going to go ahead and let that foot step back a little further if you need to. Again, we want the balls of the toes to be down onto the floor. Heel can be lifted. I'm putting a bend in the back knee, sinking down a little bit. Let the hips curl underneath, and then if you need to sink down a little bit further, so you feel that stretch come through the quadriceps, hip flexors. Again, we'll still be feeling that in our quadriceps as we're holding, because it is still a little bit of a lunge. Great work. When you're ready, go ahead, stand it up. Again, shake those legs out. And since we're in this position, I love that stretch that we did before we moved into the quadricep stretch. So I'm going to hold on to the chair one more time, walk the feet back, let the upper body come down, hips move back, let the head and neck relax down. I find this a great stretch to do by a countertop. Anytime that you have some stress during your day and you want to relieve it, go ahead, just do this stretch. It just feels so good for the upper body, lower body. Nice work. When you're ready, go ahead, release that, walking the feet back in, coming back up. We're going to go ahead and take a seat once again. Turn my chair so I'm facing you. Go ahead, just take a seat. Again, not laying all the way back, but staying nice and tall and lifted here. We're going to work the outer part of our hips a little bit. So all I'm going to do is take the right leg, lifting it up. I'm going to bring the right foot up onto the left thigh. So I'm going to just lift and turn the knee out to the side. If this isn't working for you, feel free to bring the foot a little bit further forward. If you need, extend the leg that's on the floor out a little bit. So it doesn't have to be a perfect, figure four, but if you can, as much of a figure four as you can, again, making sure that you're not pressing on the knee. So if you do have the leg extended, feel free to let the foot rest below onto the shins or above the knee, even if you have to do that gentle pull to bring that leg up. Knees turned out to the side. I'm gonna let my right hand come on the inside of the right thigh, and I'm just gonna add a little bit of pressure there so that I can kind of feel the leg opening up through that outer thigh or hip. Again, very gentle. I'm not forcing anything. I'm just doing a little bit of a reminder that it's okay to release. Let gravity do its work and allow the leg to open up and release down. From here, all I'm going to do is lift my arms all the way up. Exhale, release those shoulders, low and away. And then we're coming into that chair pose that we did before. So take that nice deep breath in. As you exhale, all I'm doing is hinging forward. Hold in there, keep breathing, just point as far as you're comfortable. Again, as you're holding in this position, try and keep that knee turned out to the side. If it starts lifting up a little bit, just kind of remind yourself, sometimes a little bit of a shake is all it takes. When you're ready, go ahead and start lifting that back up and then release that all the way down. So that'd be our half chair pose if we were standing. We're going to move into what would be a seated pigeon pose. So if we were on the ground, our leg would be extended instead of supported on the ground. Our right leg would still be in the same position, but our upper body would be coming back onto the floor. So it'd be like I have a floor right in front of me here. So all we're going to do is start the same way. Inhale, lifting up. As you exhale, go ahead and reach it forward. This time we're going to let the hands continue down as low as you're comfortable. Feel free to release towards the floor. If you want, you can always support with the hands onto that right leg. One hand, by the ankle, the other hand on the thigh. You can keep the hands onto the chair, whatever feels best. Head and neck as best you can, just let it relax down. So you're feeling that through the outside of that right leg, all the way into the glute. When you're ready, go ahead, slowly start bringing that back up. We're going to release that, letting that right foot come down, switching everything over to the left side here. So I'm going to lift the left leg up. Again, turning the knee out to the side. So I'm right, gently bring that left foot up onto the right thigh. Again, if you need, extend the right leg out. Right foot can come a little bit lower. It all works wherever you feel best. Again, making sure you're not pressing on the knee. So in this position, knee turns out to the side. Hand can be right on the inside of the thigh. Again, not on the knee. And again, feel free to do that gentle pressure down just to remind the leg that it's okay to open up to the side. Right. And our seated half chair pose. All I'm going to do is let my arms lift all the way up. Exhale, release those shoulders low and away. Take that nice deep breath in. As you exhale, that slight hinge forward. Just coming to wherever you're feeling most comfortable. Holding there, keep breathing. As always, hands can come back to the chair of support. When you're ready, lifting back up, releasing the hands all the way down. And then one more time, we're gonna lift up. We're gonna let everything hinge forward like we would in our pigeon pose. So we're gonna inhale, lifting the arms up. Exhale, shoulders come low and away. Start bringing it all the way forward. Again, if you want, feel free to hold here. Otherwise, if you can, go ahead and allow yourself to just rest a little bit. You can always come back to the chair if you choose. Head and neck stay nice and relaxed. And slowly start lifting that all the way up again, releasing it back into the center. Go ahead, release that left foot down, back onto the floor. You might feel those hip flexors, outer thigh, IT band, all loosening up a little bit more here. When you're ready, we're going to take a nice deep breath in. Let the palms come together. As you exhale, we're just going to release down through the center. Arms all the way up. Let the palms come together. Exhale, releasing down to the center. One last time here. Inhale, lifting up. And exhale, releasing down through the center. When you're ready, just let the hands rest down onto the lap, however you feel most comfortable. And we're going to start coming back into our breath like we did in the very beginning. So taking those nice, long, deep breaths. You might notice it's a little bit easier to follow that pattern this time. And let all the muscles of the body relax. You want to feel free to let your eyes close for a moment. Starting at the top of the head, working your way all the way down to the toes. We're just going to do a little bit of a full body relaxation. So again, eyes can close if you choose. Feel as if there's no wrinkles in the forehead, so you don't have that worried face. Everything is nice and smooth and relaxed. The jaw is nice and relaxed. You're not clenching your teeth. Moving down a little bit lower, feeling the shoulders releasing down. The neck grows a little taller. Again, creating that space between the shoulders and the ears. Feeling the spine lengthen, the shoulders remain low and away, chest is open. Feeling the breath spinning, opening the rib cage, expanding through the chest. Feeling the base of the spine grounded in towards the seat of the chair. The arms are feeling nice and relaxed. Nice and relaxed on the lap. The legs giving up their folds, feeling that the chair is supporting us fully. Feeling that relaxation all the way down towards the toes, the soles of the feet. Just feeling the body just pick up its fold. Allowing the mind to clear. The body to feel completely relaxed and at ease. When you're ready, we're going to start reawakening the body here. So just lift the middle of the toes a little bit, move the fingertips around a little bit. If you need, go ahead and roll those shoulders up, back, down, and away again. If you were able to close your eyes and trust that, feel free to open your eyes again. And then we're going to come back into those nice 3 breaths to close things out. Inhale, lifting the arms up. Let the palms come together. Exhale, release down through the center. Again, inhale, lifting. Exhale, releasing down. And one last time, inhale, lifting. And exhale, releasing down. Namaste. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you very, very much for another beautiful session. And with that, I'm going to stop our recording.